March 18th, 2016, 1:14 p.m. And in this video, I'm going to actually take the code that I created in my digital notebook, the Java code that's represented in my digital notebook for Chapter 5, Head First Java college book, and I'm going to create Java files. I'm just going to copy and paste the code into Java files, and I'm going to use my command prompt to get to my desktop and run these new Java files to show you how my code actually works in Java, in the Java program itself. Okay, so here's my notebook, my digital notebook of my college book. Here up here, this is my Notepad++. OpenJava.html is the home page. This is the home page. It's got a navigation section at the left and it's got an iframe at the right. This breakfast plate is the default web page that opens up when this is first loaded. When open.java.html is first opened in Chrome, this is what you see. What I'm working on right now, actually, the last page that I did in the last video, Final Code Combined, when I click on this, you see what I created. In my legend here, I have the title Final Code Combined. I've got a couple buttons to scroll the page if I want it to scroll as the user's listening, and a stop scroll to stop. I have an audio tag here so that I can read the instructions of what you actually see. The next thing I have is a couple of tables that represent two different classes. One class is called simple.com, and then we have a simple.com test here that tests what's going on in the simple.com class. In the simple.com, these tables, the representation, we're going to create a couple instance variables, int array location cells and int number of hits. Then there's also going to be two methods, a string check yourself with a parameter string guess, and a void set location cells. It's another method, it's a setter method with a parameter of int array locs. Now remember that this one on the right is just a tester, so we have no, in this particular one, we have no instance variables here. This is only used to test the simple.com class to the left, and because this is the tester class, we have to use the public static void main string args execution statement in it. In the previous video, I used a text area to show my code for these two different files, and then I separated the two files with a dashed line. I think in the other video I called it a dotted line, but technically it was a dashed line, not dotted. Well, what I did in this one was to create two text areas, and they have pink borders so that each text area will represent the code for a single class. So in this first pink box, we are going to look at the code public class simple.com, which again was represented by this simple.com table here. And then if I go, then I've got a scroll bar here that'll take us to the entire code all the way to completion. And then if I go further down, the next pink box is going to show us the code for the public class simple.com test, which is represented by this table on the right, simple.com test. Again, the tables are just to represent the files we're going to create, and then in these pink boxes I'm showing you the actual Java syntax that makes it all happen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the actual Java files. I already have Java installed on my machine. If you don't have Java installed on your machine, what you want to do is you want to Google, my Google show, Java downloads. And here you have Oracle, java.com, download free Java software. This right here, www.oracle.com, is the book actually told me to go to the oracle.com, so this is what I would click. And you see Java SE downloads. Well, because you want to learn developing code, you would want the JDK. That's what you'd want to download, so you'd click that. and Java SE Development Kit 8 downloads. Then you're going to go down here. There's a couple of radio dials here. You want to make sure you click Accept License Agreement, and then you have to know what your operating system is. And you actually, before that, you even want to know if you're 86-bit or 64-bit. Well, if you click your Start button and go to Computer and right-click and go to Properties, then you get this basic information about your computer. My operating system currently, it was Windows XP, but now it's Windows 7 Professional, Service Pack 1. And if you go down further to system type, it's a 32-bit operating system. Well, the newer ones are 64-bit. Mine's an older. And Windows x64 is for 64-bit. And confusingly, Windows x86 is for 32-bit. Why they didn't call it Windows x32 is beyond me. I don't know the reason behind that. But for my computer, this is the link that I would download to download Java to my system. And I'm not going to go into that any further because there's directions on how to download this, and there's directions on how to change your environment variables. I'm not going to go through that. I did it. You can Google it. But you have to have Java. You have to have this on your system if you're going to experiment and learn how to program with Java. All right, enough of that. Just wanted to give you that overview. So let me go back to my Notepad++ and I already have my openjava.html, which is my project. It's my actual web page here at the bottom. And my final code combine.html is the last web page that I did right here that you're looking at. Well, I'm going to create another link here in my navigation. So I have to go to openjava.html. And I look for the very last link right before the end of my ordered list and end of field set, end of body, end of HTML. The very bottom part of that web page, I'm going to take this link, right click it, copy it, and create a new one. And I'm going to name this link Java, let me see, command line Java output, so that you can see how the code works in Java itself, not just the code in a web page. Then I'm going to have to create a page, which I don't have at this point, and then I'm not really going to I don't think I'm going to make the page in this video. I just want you to see the output in the video. Or if I do make the page, maybe the page will just open the video and that's what you'll be looking at. So I want to call that the same name, command line, and no spaces, Java output.html. Then I would take my final code combined.html and I'd create a new page, file, save as, and I would name it the same, final code combined.html. So now I'm going to create a new web page. No, that's not what I want to call it. That's the previous one that I did. What I want to call it is this, command line Java output.html. So new file, save as, right click and paste that, save it. Okay, so now I have a blank web page. I can take my former page that looks like this, Control A to highlight, Control C to copy, click on the blank web page, Control V to paste. In my text area, since this is going to be a brand new page, I want to get all of that information out. And I don't know if I'll need to use two text areas or not. I will have them here, but I'll figure it out. What else do I want to change? If I do an MP3, I want the name to be the same. Command line Java output MP3. And I want the same name to show up in my legend, but I do want spaces here because it's just a visual. I still haven't created all my styles in an external. They're all still internal. Command line Java output. Okay, so now when I've saved all my Notepad++, let me refresh my page down here, and you see now I have the command line Java output link. When I click this, it says the file or directory cannot be found. Let's see why that is. Let me go back to my home page, Open Java. It's supposed to go to command line Java output.html, which is right here. If I look at my chapter 5 folder, it should be showing up, and it is not. Command line Java output.html is not showing, so let's see where that saved it to. It saved it somewhere. Command line Java output.html. Let me search and see where it saved it. No items match your search. Command line Java output.html file, save as. Oh, there it is. That's where it saved it. It saved it in my head first Java Nice Keep 2 folder, but it didn't put it in the box. And it has to be in the box for the proper path. So I'll just take it and I'll move it to box. And I have to call it again. Let me go in the chapter 5 folder where it actually is now. Or no, it's not in chapter 5, it's in box. Wow, here it is. I have to put it in chapter 5. Okay, finally. Command line Java output.html. Edit with Notepad. Okay, now we've got the path set up correctly. Let's try it again. Refresh the page. Click it. There we go. Now our page shows because it's put where it belongs. Command line Java output. We've got the same scroll page and stop scroll. I've got the same placeholder for an audio file, but I haven't created the MP3 yet. I've got the same two tables that are just my representations of the two classes that I'm creating. And I've got one text area that's blank and two text areas that's blank. I'm sure that this is going to be different. What I'm probably going to do, instead of having two text areas, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to put a place for the video that I'm creating right now to open up. That's probably what I'm going to do, but I'm not sure. Anyway, this video isn't so much how I'm going to deal with my digital notebook as it is I want to show you the Java work. But I did at least want to put the link and get the start of the web page. So you've seen how I created the new link and you've seen how I started the new web page for my digital notebook. Good enough. All right, so I need to create the two Java files. I don't need this final code combined HTML anymore because that was from the previous video. Just these two, and I'm not even really dealing with those either at this point. I'm using those for the digital notebook. Let's do the Java though. File, save as. I'm going to save this on my desktop. These are the two files that I'm going to create. I'm going to create the simple.com.java and the simple.com test.java. That's what I'm going to do. So, save as, the first one, simple.com.java on the desktop, save. Right click here to create another file. File, save as. And this one is going to be the simple.com test. Simple.com test.java. Alright, so now we have two blank Java files. This one and this one. And they're created in Notepad++. And I'll show you, they're right here on my desktop. I have to compile I have to compile the file that has the execution statement. And if we go back up here, I can't even show it to you since it's blank now. If I go here to the previous page, this shows both files. Let me open this up more. Here's the two files, simple.com and simple.com test. In the simple.com file, the public execution statement, the public static is not in that one. It's in the simple.com test file. The public static void main string array args. In the previous video, I forgot to put string args in the parentheses. Whoa, what did I just do? What did I just do? That was very strange. I don't know how I did that, but anyway. In the previous video I messed up. So I had public static void main and an empty parentheses. For this to work properly, you have to have string and the array symbol and args in these parentheses. That's how the public execution statement works. This class is the one that I want to compile. When I compile this, as long as all of this is spelled correctly and the syntax is correct, as long as I didn't make any mistakes here, Java is going to create two more files. Instead of me just having simple.com test.java and simple.com.java on my desktop, I'm going to have simple.com.java and simple.com.class. And then same thing for this one, I'm going to have a simple.com test.java, and Java is going to create a simple.com test.class file. The .java file is what you see here in regular English. The .class file is what the computer reads. So we have two different files, one for the human to read and one for the computer to read. So let me move this and actually before I do that, let me put this back. Half and half. Let me copy both of these. Simple.com. I'm going to right click. Let's see. Let me see if I can control. Okay, inside of this text area, you can see I hit Control A, and the only thing that it highlighted was what's in this text area. Control C, and then come to simple.com Java and click inside this file, and then hit Control V. So now I have copied this. So now let me do the same thing for the public class simple.com test. Let me click inside here, just click in there, hit Control A to highlight, Control C to copy, go to simple.com test.java, this empty file, click in here and hit Control V. So now I've copied the code for the second one. I'm having a hard time making this scroll. So now I've copied this. Now that I've copied both of these, I've put contents and not just empty files. They're both right here. They're no longer empty. I'm going to go to Run, CMD for my command prompt, hit OK. Now I want to change my path to the desktop and then change it to the simple.com test. I want to compile the simple.com test because it's the one that has public static void main string args execution statement in it. So I'm going to compile that. When I compile that, if it compiles cleanly and there's no errors, then you'll see two more. You'll see the two class files pop up on my desktop. So let's say cd desktop enter. Now we're on my desktop, and if I hit dir and enter, this shows you everything that's on my desktop that you can see. Head first Java nice keep 2, and it's a dir for directory, which means folder, and that's this right here. HF Java Overview 5.avi, that stands for Head First Java Overview 5.avi. That's the last video that I did, and that's right here. Another directory or folder called Resumes and Cover Letters, which is showing right here. And here's our simple.com.java and our simple.com test.java files, which are showing over here. Remember, I need to compile, so my keyword is javac, and the one that had the execution statement was the simple.com test.java. So javac simple.com test.java, enter. As long as it compiles cleanly, no errors, we're going to get 2 classes here. And also the path shows up again. So that happened. So now let's run it. Java without the C, because now we're running it. We're not compiling it, we're just running it. Simple.com test. And don't put an extension. No .java, no .class, just simple.com test. Hit enter. And our display is the word hit. The reason it is hit is because of our code. And I'll show you how I can get a different result. The only 3 results that we can show is hit or miss. And since this isn't going, let's see, how could I do this? It's not going to show kill based on the current code, because we're not doing this over and over and over. We have one fake user guess that we put in our code, and this is the word hit is based on the fake user guess that we created. So if I go back here to the code, open this up. If I could just tear these apart so you can see them side by side. Let me minimize this. Let me rip this one off. Okay, now I want these 2 files. I'm going to right click here and hit show windows side by side. Okay. And actually I want this one to go on the left, side by side. Side by side. Side by side. There. This is the simple.com. And this is the test. This is what we compiled to run the whole program. Here, we are taking the value of the location cells. This is a for loop, so it's going to loop through the location array. And the location array is created in our test. In array locations, we gave it a value of 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then we used this object dot of the simple.com class to use the dot operator here and call the set location cells method, which is here. And locations has a value of 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then we created a fake user guess of 2. Well, over here in this for loop, it wants to know, it is going to take the value of location cells, which here with set locations had the value of 2, 3, and 4, and that value is going to be, the value of 2, 3, and 4 is going to go into the variable called cell. Then it's going to ask if any of the array values in that int array match the guess, then our result is going to be hit. This is why we've seen hit right here, because right here is the fake user guess that we inputted. We put a 2, and this right here wants you to compare what guess the value of guess is and what the value of guess, which is user guess right here, is 2, and the cell we'll take the value of all the different array elements of this array, and so this 2 and this 2 match, and because they match, we wind up changing the value of the variable result to a hit, and then we increment the number of hits up 1, and then we break out of the loop. If I wanted to make it stay miss, then the string user guess I will change. Okay, I'll change it right here to a 7, and then I'll save it. So now when it compares the user guess to the possible array elements, this will be false. Guess and cell will not have the same value. They will not be equal. So because this will be false, all of this will be ignored, and then it will go down to this, and obviously number of hits will not have incremented, so we won't get the result to be changed to kill. That will be ignored, and we will get system.out.println the original value of result, because this will not be true any longer. So let me show you that. Go back to this, and now I have to, because I made changes in my files, I have to recompile. So this right here at the path, I'm going to hit my up button on my keyboard until I get to that command Java C again. I don't have to retype it, and then I hit enter. So it's going to compile it again with my new changes that I made right here. And now I'm going to take my down arrow and Java, there's my Java statement. I don't have to retype that again, and hit enter. So now we'll see miss, because when it did that evaluation, the user guess and the locations array elements, they were no longer, there was no possible match. They were, 7 is not equal to 2, it's not equal to 3, and it's not equal to 4 at all. Alright, so the only way that we could show a kill were to make some changes in our code that would, instead of breaking, it would let us do it again and again and again, which that will be the improvements to the code in a future video. But as for now, I just wanted to show you how the output worked with the simple.com class and the simple.com test class that Java is showing in Chapter 5. So I'm going to exit out of this for now, and that is going to conclude this video right now.